Kyle Pitts, the wide receiver 1 or 2, arguably the tight end 1 for sure on the Atlanta Falcons. What else? What else is there to say about this guy outside of the fact that he's an absolute stud? He's probably going to be one of the favorite options of Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan loves throwing to tight ends, believe it or not. So much so that Austin Hooper was a tight end 1 2 years back and got himself a huge contract in Cleveland for it. All in all, generational prospect gets thrown around way too much. But with this guy, with what he was able to do as an athlete, the first thing about his film is this guy is an NFL player. That just gets screamed to you when you're watching him play. The way he can separate, the way he runs his routes, the way he just catches the ball, all the things, the way he's built, he just looks like an NFL tight end. I don't know, are there any negatives to this guy that you can think of? Anything? How does this contribute to the offense? Obviously, with Julio Jones now out of town, it's the Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts show, right?
If he was drafted into a place that had an increased emphasis on blocking at the tight end position, he wouldn't be this valued. But he went to the Atlanta Falcons, and they already have Hayden Hurst, who's going to be the inline blocker. They traded away Julio Jones to the Tennessee Titans, and they added Kyle Pitts to play wide receiver. They didn't add him to play tight end. They added him to play wide receiver. He's going to be their Calvin Johnson kind of guy. And this is a guy that I'm so interested in. But am I expecting him to have 700 yards as a rookie like Calvin Johnson did? No, I'm expecting him to put up kind of like tight end numbers. I'm not trying to expect him to put up 700 yards because I don't want to be disappointed if that doesn't happen. I know that TJ Hawkinson was a top tight end in the draft. He was tight end 8. He was a pick 8 in that 2019 draft, and he put up 300 something yards. And that's the best for a tight end that's been drafted that high, but it's not fantasy relevance. So I expect Kyle Pitts to be fantasy relevant, but I don't expect him to blow us away. So I think he's going to disappoint on his current value.
Fair enough. Do you think he's a top 10 tight end this year in fantasy?
Yeah,
easily.
If he's classified as the tight end, yeah, because he's playing wide receiver.
I think he will.
And it's not hard to be a top tight end. It's not hard to be top 10 in tight end.
It was a trick question, but yeah, man. I mean, Kyle Pitts. It's hard to, like I said, find any negatives. I think you touched on the one where it's like I don't think we can expect him to be Travis Kelce year 1, and that's fair. He's still going to have to learn an NFL offense. He's going to have to learn some blocking, not a ton. With that offense, again, another team with a terrible defense, and they did less than the Bengals did this offseason to address that defense. And they're gonna be terrible. They did bring in new coaching staff, new DC, all that, but it's still gonna be a bad defense. So they're gonna be throwing a lot. That's a high power division with the Panthers, the Saints, and especially the Bucs. They're gonna have to throw a lot to catch up. I could see Kyle Pitts having a really good season. I could see 700 yards, no problem. I think he might be more of the touchdown guy than a yard guy year 1, but that's okay. Those are huge for a tight end, honestly.
Well, Bob, he had 43 receptions and 12 of them were touchdowns his senior year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's just he's gonna be a touchdown guy.
Yeah, I think the way he separates in that short area down at the goal line in college was crazy. And I don't see that changing in the NFL, really.